All right, so we have the staircase, of course, completed, and now we are working on the rails. And Eric really outdid himself on the stairs. I mean, it is so grand. You guys have to bear in mind, we do have some remodeling experience, but we're really not carpenters or builders. This man literally just kind of learns and builds as he goes, and I'm so proud of the way this thing turned out. I love the staircase. I cannot stress enough how awesome it's going to be to wake up in the morning inside this dome and this bed and not have a huge railing kind of obstructing your view. As you guys can tell, the mattress is in there now, all the slats is in, and it's pretty much just an amazing view. The mattress is kind of like inflating, so it really is coming together, and it looks like what it is going to look like once our guest is here. And so waking up in the morning and just looking out into this view, and then being able to get a cup of coffee and sit on these steps and just look out into the mountain is going to be really, really amazing. We're going to start to get working on building the stairs in front of the dome. We have completed the stairs on either side of the dome and also all the skirting on both sides. So this is the only section that is left open, and the reasoning was because we still had plumbing left to do, but we're going to go ahead and get building on the stairs. We can always skirt it in later and leave a little section for us to be able to get underneath. This side of the dome is going to be a really long stretch when it comes to the stairs. And if you're wondering why we have such a long stairway and not enough room to get up on the dome, we're not really expecting the guests to use this side of the dome to enter into the deck or anything, but it really comes down to just wanting our guests to have the best experience. And we didn't want to block or cover the window with any kind of rails, so we wanted to have the dome kind of pushed up right to the edge of the deck, so it really felt like you were in the mountains, like you literally was like hanging off of the bank. And as you can tell, the bed is positioned right in the middle of this window, and so we wanted our guests to be able to lay in the bed and to not have an obstructed view looking into rails. So we intentionally left this side of the deck open, and we're going to build a very long stairway here. And if you like, you can actually utilize this side of the deck to get up, but it was not really meant to be the entrance or exit of the deck. So we're going to get building on the stairs, and hopefully it turns out the way we expected, because we really did not want to have anything obstructing the view of the dome or from inside of the dome. And we wanted you to be able to just really look out into this mountain and valley scape that we have. The horse is out today. I don't know if you guys can see that on the video, but there is a horse and some cows that live down in that pasture. They're so beautiful to watch, just nature take its course with them. And so that is the whole reasoning behind leaving this section open, even though it's not intended to be the entrance or exit. So as you can see here, there's a little step on this side that's going to be the entrance. We have the skirting going around, and this side is what we're going to be working on today, getting this all closed up. Eric's going to be building some sort of kind of box around all of our plumbing on the inside of the deck and insulating that, because we do have very harsh winters here sometimes, and we want this dome to be a year-round dome. We don't want to have to close up for certain portions of the year. Of course, we're going to have to see how everything runs before we make that decision, but right now we're hoping for a full year-round dome that we can rent out to our guests, and we're taking every precaution that we can to make sure that we can make that possible. All right, so most of the day was spent getting all of these stringers cut and put in place. Each of these stringers had to be placed about 16 inches apart, which meant that we had to cut a ton of them. And Eric basically started by cutting one as a kind of template, making sure that that was measured out correctly and that it would work, and just kind of use that to transfer the shape onto all the other boards that he cut, and that allowed him to go a lot quicker, of course, not measuring out every single stringer. And we ended up being able to use that one, of course, at the end, so he had to cut one less at the end. But this was actually very time consuming, having to cut these out and also going back and trimming up certain portions that the handsaw was not able to cut correctly. So now it's going to just take us to screw all of these in. As you guys can see, we have these kind of brackets or ties that are going to be used to tie in the new stairs with the existing deck. We also had to put this board up here just to be some support and have something to nail into, because the deck, of course, didn't have anything lower to screw into. So we're just going to get working on trying to line these up in place and getting them all screwed in, and then he can get working on the actual steps. But you want to make sure that you're doing things by the book, especially when it's something like a stairs and others are going to be using it and walking on it, and it's a safety issue. So although this was a lot to do, it was very important to make sure we get it done and get it done correctly. So they're all here. We're going to get them in place, and hopefully everything goes faster from this point on. Of course, in this stage of the game and building process, you're going to want to make sure that everything is leveled. It is going to be a stairs where you will have to walk up and down. So you definitely want to make sure that everything is level. So Eric is just using some stepping stones that we had laying around the property to make sure that the staircase ends up in a leveled position. And that one was pretty level, so that's going to kind of set the tone for the rest of them. And I cannot say that this task is not going to be time consuming, because it takes a lot of squaring off, it takes a lot of leveling, it takes a lot of making sure that this thing is attached properly and definitely safe to have as a stairs for guests to go up and down. So we're probably going to be here a little bit longer than we did when we did the stairs on the other sides of the dome, just because those were just a step. This one is going to have 4 steps. It's a little higher on this side, and also it is facing the bank. So we want to make sure that we take the time and attention to detail and make sure that we are making this thing the correct way, and we're building it as supported and safe as possible. When I first saw the plans of what Eric had to do, I was very excited because I didn't want to have anything obstructing the view of the deck, but I also figured a lot of this decking or staircase would be not usable or just for aesthetics. But now that I've spent some time out here and I realize how this actually plays a part in our outdoor furniture, because it is so sturdy and it is so well positioned that you're able to kind of use this as seating. this area of the entire property has the best views of the mountain. I'm literally standing in front of the stairway, and you can just tell how secluded and how awesome this view is. I didn't think about that when we first decided that we needed to build this huge railing, just for safety reasons and to make sure that the guests can get to each side of the dome effortlessly. But this thing turned out to be more than just a staircase. This is going to be like a hangout spot. If I was here just as a guest, I would definitely get a good book and sit out here and take in all of these views and just the peacefulness of being so high up in the mountain. You also have views 360 all the way around, and you can hear the creek flowing from up here. And if you look really good, you can see down at the bridge and you can see into the creek area. In person, it is so amazing just to get this mountain dew and breeze. I love it. So Eric is just working on the rails right now, and they're pretty much in. I'm gonna have a heck of a time staining this thing, but it looks so good, and I can't wait to see it blended with the entire deck that I don't even care about staining. We're definitely going to have to get our rebar and get those painted. As you guys can see here, we used rebar and sprayed them black for kind of the rails on here, or spindles. So we're going to do the same thing here on either side, get them painted and get them in there, and then get this entire thing stained. Once that's done, Eric is going to finish up whatever work he has to do underneath the deck here, and we'll be able to close this in and get the skirting in like we did all the way around. So this thing is done. This was a lot of building, a lot of wood, a lot of money to get it done, but it was so worth it. The entire way that it's done and the way that it worked out to be more than a staircase, but more of a hangout area, is going to be so awesome. We're thinking about putting some kind of outdoor furniture right here on the deck in this area, maybe a dining kind of something, or I don't know, we haven't picked it out yet. But once we get the outdoor furniture here on this section, it's all going to flow so easy, and it's going to look so nice because you'll be able to enter the deck from either side and also the front side. And parking, of course, is going to be right here in this area. Once we get the skirting on and everything done, we'll be able to get the gravel up here and get this leveled back out for parking. And we'll be able to move the mini eggs back down because we don't need it anymore. And this entire area is just going to look so awesome. So, guys, we're outside. We're finishing up, and we set a date, but we can't really say because we've been blowing through all of our dates. But guys, life happens, and you have to wait around for a lot of things to be done. However, you guys will be able to come here in a few short weeks, month maybe. I'm not sure, but we're getting this thing done. I love it, and I hope you guys love it too. Just look at the view, not only from the mountain, but the view inside of the dome. I do want to say we have not put the curtain up yet because we're still doing some painting and we have to clean in the dome. But I don't want anyone to think that you're going to just be exposed to the entire world. Firstly, you cannot see in this dome if you are not standing right where I'm standing. If you're on the roadway driving by, you can't even see the dome. That's the great thing about it. But when we got this dome from True Domes, it came with a huge curtain. It's very thick, also insulated. It's the exact fabric that is on the insulation kit, so it's this really nice gray, and it covers the entire thing. It's not one of those makeshift curtains that we had to get like a lot of dome builders have to because their manufacturer do not supply a curtain. This thing is curved the exact shape of the window, so every inch of the window is covered up, so you don't have to worry about just feeling like you're exposed. But if you're like me and you want to see nature and that's the reason you're in the mountains, you're gonna love to have that thing open. But if you want to have it closed, you still have portholes and the huge skylight in the middle, so you have tons of light and tons of nature coming in. Everything looks so good. Cannot wait to have this stained, and I'll be able to show you guys when it's all completed.